Hey, good morning everybody. Happy New Year to you. Matt Zerby here from Wasco Nursery, and I wanted to get our 2020 video series kicked off today with a little short talk about houseplant and insect control. And before I get started though, I wanted to just highlight something. We've got a nice winter workshop series coming up. We've got some new classes that we're offering this year, and you can find those on our Facebook page, or on our Eventbrite page, or on our website under events. So hopefully you'll join us for some of those. We had our first one actually was last night and was very successful. We've got a bunch of other new classes coming up, so we hope you'll join us for one of those. So houseplants, let's just kind of start looking over here. I'll get out of your way. And so if you're anything like me, you have tropical plants and houseplants and things like that you keep outside on the deck or patio during the summer months, and then bring them in for the winter. Or perhaps you just have houseplants that you keep in the house year round, but you've got some insect problems on them. I know I occasionally do. So taking care of insect problems on houseplants though isn't always the easiest thing to do during the middle of winter when you can't take it outside and spray it. So I wanted to talk about a couple of methods real quick. So I'll focus on this one right here. This is a variegated lemon plant. So it actually has edible lemons, or will. You can see some nice little white flowers there. If we look close enough, we probably would already see some fruit forming in some of the, behind some of those flowers somewhere. And so I have this exact same plant at home, and mine actually, when I brought it in from the patio, about a month later, I noticed that it had some mites on it, which are very tiny little insects. So what I did with it is I brought that plant down to the basement, put it in the laundry tub, and because it's edible, I wanted to use something that would be safe should I decide to actually eat the lemons. And so I used this product right here. It's called insecticidal super soap. And if you look right down there at the bottom below the picture of the insects, it says for organic gardening. And so this is safe for edible plants. It's actually a great thing to have in your arsenal. It's great for fruits and vegetables outside as well as inside. So of course I didn't want to get it everywhere, so I put it in the laundry tub, sprayed it. That took care of the problem. Insecticidal super soap has two ingredients: potassium salts of fatty acids, which sounds weird, but that's actually the insecticidal soap portion of it, which is good at controlling some of your minor soft-bodied insects like aphids and whiteflies and some mites and things like that. And then the other ingredient is something called spinosad, which is actually a bacteria that was discovered in an old or an abandoned rum distillery. And that bacteria has insecticidal properties, but is perfectly safe for people. So it's very common in organic gardening, both from a residential standpoint, but also from a commercial production standpoint. So that's one good product. Now, if you've got some difficult to control insects on non-edible plants, maybe on like that variegated rubber plant, or on this really nice little fiddle leaf fig, if you had something like scale or mealybugs, some of those more difficult to control insects, and it's not on a plant that you're going to eat or use for cooking purposes or anything, then you may want to consider getting this product right here. This is called Systemic Houseplant Insect Control. It is for containerized plants. It is a granular product, and what you do is you measure the diameter of the pot, and based on what the label tells you, it'll say, because your pot is 5 inches, use this amount of product, and then you'll sprinkle it all over the surface, and then work it into the top inch or so. So you'd sprinkle it on there, and then you would just work it into this upper soil surface area all the way around. And once you're done, then you would water it in. And then you don't want to water for about another week after that, so that you can let the product work. And what the product does is it would dissolve. It would then attach itself to the root system of the plant, and then it would get absorbed into the plant and work basically from the inside out. So it's a process called translocation. So it's taking that product from the root system, and then it's relocating it basically all throughout the plant. It does take a couple weeks for it to work, so it is not a quick kill type product, but it is very effective because it will last for sometimes up to 2 months, depending upon the size of the plant and how frequently you water and some other conditions. So It's very effective at delivering a dose of insecticide to the insect as it's feeding on the plant. So insects like scale and mealybugs, which can be very difficult to control, are generally controlled very well with the systemic houseplant granules. Again, it is not an organic product. It would not be safe for edible plants. It probably would not be safe for your cat or something like that if they were munching on a plant. So you'd have to be cautious there. But the nice thing is that it because you're inside the house, you don't have to worry about other beneficial insects or birds or anything like that. So it's a good safe product to use in the house, and you don't have to spray it, which is really nice. So if you've got some larger plants, you won't have to move them or lift them or do anything like that. The last method I wanted to talk about was just using some rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip. I didn't bring that in to show you, but that's a really effective method if you have some of the more difficult to control insects like mealybugs. You can put some rubbing alcohol in a small cup and get a Q-tip, and it's very tedious, but you take the Q-tip, you dip it in the alcohol, and then you touch the body of the insect. You don't want to spray it all over the plant because that'll cause the plant to dry out. You don't want to just coat the leaf surface. You just dip the Q-tip in the alcohol and then touch the insect, kind of soak its back, if you will, and that causes the insects to dry out and then eventually die. It is pretty effective. Like I said, it is very tedious. It's also very difficult to get all of them. So oftentimes you may have to repeat that process, but it is a good method as well. So I hope a few of those tips have helped you. As always, if you have any questions at all about houseplant care or insect control or any of those kind of things, please feel free to give us a call or stop by the store. Thanks for watching.